She posted our picture with the caption, "Settling for now." So I packed my bags and vanished. Now every guy she chased has ghosted her, and she won't stop calling me. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I always thought dating Mia was the kind of safe, steady choice you make when you're tired of the games. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party 2 years ago. She was loud, fun, and a little chaotic. I wasn't the type she usually went for. She admitted as much later. She said she usually dated edgy guys, the kind who worked in music or traveled constantly. Not someone like me with a regular 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, and a reliable car. But she also said she was tired of drama and that I made her feel secure. At the time, that sounded like a compliment, and for a while things were good. I'd cook for us. We'd go on trips. We laughed a lot. She said she felt taken care of, which made me feel proud. I thought we were building something long-term, but every now and then, she'd slip in a comment that stung more than she realized. Or maybe she did realize, like when we went out with her friends and one of them joked about my old Honda. She smirked and said, "Hey, at least it always starts. Not exciting, but dependable." Everyone laughed. I forced a smile, but it stayed with me longer than I wanted to admit. Or the time she looked at one of those cheesy Instagram posts about finding your soulmate and muttered, "You're not my soulmate, but you're good for me." I remember asking, "What's that supposed to mean?" She kissed me on the cheek and said, "Relax. I mean, you're stable. Stability is rare." I told myself not to overthink it. I thought she just had a weird way of expressing herself. Maybe that's what happens when you've been burned before. You start to mistake cutting remarks for honesty. The truth is, I ignored a lot of little signs. Like the way she sometimes looked at other guys at bars, lingering just a little too long. Or how she always made sure to mention when one of her exes reached out just to check in. I'd brush it off. I didn't want to be the insecure boyfriend. I thought that being calm, steady, and trusting would make her appreciate me more. But looking back, those weren't harmless comments. There were cracks in the foundation, and the night everything fell apart. Those cracks split wide open. It didn't start with a fight, or with her coming home late. It started with a single Instagram post. We'd gone out that Sunday morning, just the two of us, to a little cafe. I even remember what she ordered: avocado toast and a mimosa. She asked a stranger at the next table to take our photo. We were both smiling, her leaning into me. It looked like a picture-perfect couple shot. She posted it while we were still eating. I didn't think anything of it until my phone buzzed a few minutes later with a message from my buddy Dan. "Bro, did you see what Mia just put on Insta?" That was the first tug on the thread. And once I looked at her post, everything unraveled. I opened Instagram, half expecting some cutesy caption about brunch or lazy Sundays. Instead, my stomach dropped. There it was, our smiling faces, me with my arm around her, her cheek pressed against mine, and under it, the caption in bold letters, "Settling for now, grinning face with sweat." For a second, I thought maybe I was hallucinating. I refreshed the app. It was still there. Likes were already piling up. Dan's message popped up again. "You good, man?" Another friend chimed in with a screenshot and nothing but the eyes emoji. And then another. "WTF? Is this?" I looked across the table at Mia. She was sipping her mimosa, scrolling on her phone, humming to herself. I forced the words out. "Hey, What's that caption supposed to mean? She looked up like I just asked her if the sky was blue. What do you mean? You put settling for now under our picture. She smirked, tilted her head, and said, "Oh my God, you're taking that seriously? It's just a joke. Chill." I stared at her. A joke? Yeah, like you know how everyone posts the same cheesy couple stuff. I thought it would be funny to do the opposite. You're stable. I'm here. It's whatever. People know I'm kidding. I didn't laugh. Mia, people are already messaging me about it. They don't think it's a joke. She rolled her eyes. That's because your friends are uptight. My friends get it. It's sarcasm. Honestly, you're being sensitive right now. The way she said sensitive made it sound like an insult. I sat back, trying to process. My face felt hot, but I kept my voice calm. So, you thought it would be funny to tell the whole world you're settling for me. It's not that deep, she snapped. You act like I wrote, "I hate this guy." I literally said, "stilling for now," as in, you're good enough for right now. People get that it's tongue-in-cheek. Good enough for right now. The phrase echoed in my head like a bell. She leaned across the table and touched my hand like that would smooth it over. Come on, don't ruin brunch over an Instagram caption. I pulled my hand back. You meant that, didn't you? Her eyes flickered just for a second. Then she put on that dismissive smirk again. Look, all I'm saying is you're stable. You're the kind of guy women settle down with. That's a compliment whether you see it or not. Do you think I'd even be here if I didn't want you? I couldn't help it. I let out a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. You just told the world you're settling. You think that's love? Her tone sharpened. You're overreacting. If you're this insecure, maybe that's the real problem. I need someone who can handle a little banter. Not everything's a personal attack. For a moment, the cafe around us blurred. People clinking glasses, silverware on plates, background chatter. It all faded under the weight of her words, and that's when something inside me clicked. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to plead with her to take it down. I wasn't going to sit there and explain to a grown woman why broadcasting that your boyfriend is settling was humiliating. I just said quietly, "Right. You could do worse." Her brow furrowed. What's that supposed to mean? But I didn't answer. I just finished my coffee, placed a 20 on the table, and let the silence say the rest. The rest of brunch was silent. She scrolled on her phone while I finished my coffee. I didn't bring it up again. When we got back to her apartment, she flopped on the couch like nothing happened. I told her I needed to grab some things from my place. She barely looked up. Okay. Just don't soak all day. Seriously, lighten up. I nodded. Sure. I walked into her bedroom, closed the door, and pulled out my overnight bag from the closet. I didn't pack everything, just the essentials. A few shirts, my laptop, my toothbrush. It was enough. The screenshot of her post was still open on my phone. I saved it in 3 different folders. Not because I planned to use it against her, but because I knew she'd delete it eventually and pretend it never happened. I wanted the reminder. When I came back out, she was still on the couch, laughing at something on TikTok. She didn't notice the bag slung over my shoulder. I paused by the door. For a second, I thought about saying something. One last conversation, one last attempt at clarity. But the words never came. I just walked out. Back in my apartment, I sat on the edge of my bed and felt the weight of everything all at once. The embarrassment, the disrespect, the way she brushed me off like I was the one with the problem. But under it, there was a strange calm. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I didn't even text her back when my phone started buzzing 10 minutes later. Mia, so you're seriously leaving? Over an Instagram caption. Grow up, Mia. Wow, you're actually pathetic. Mia, if you want to act like a drama queen, fine. I'll be at the bar with my friends later. Maybe try being fun for once. I muted the thread and put the phone face down. That night, she called 6 times in a row. When I didn't pick up, she left a voicemail. Her voice was slurred. You're overreacting, babe. Like seriously, everyone knew I was joking. Stop acting like you're some victim. Call me back. I didn't. The next morning, I woke up to another round of texts. Mia, unbelievable. You're really ghosting me over this, after everything I put up with. Mia, you think you'll find someone better? Elmo, good luck. Mia, don't bother coming back. You clearly can't handle me. I didn't respond to those either. Instead, I blocked her number. Then, I blocked her on Instagram, Facebook, everything. I deleted every picture of us. I unfollowed all her friends. I scrubbed her out of my digital world like she never existed. For the first time in 2 years, I felt like I could breathe. There was no fight, no screaming match, no dramatic breakup scene. Just silence. And the thing about silence is it speaks louder than any words I could have said. Of course, I knew she wouldn't leave it alone. Mia thrived on attention. If she didn't get it from me, she'd find another way. And I was right. Because while I was settling into my new peace, she was about to realize her little joke had a much longer shelf life than she ever intended. And it wasn't going to be funny anymore. I thought blocking her would be the end of it. Out of sight, out of mind. But the internet has a way of keeping receipts. By Wednesday, 3 different people had sent me screenshots of her post. Not just my close friends, mutual acquaintances, co-workers, even my cousin. Apparently, someone had reposted it to a private Facebook group with the caption, "Imagine your girlfriend calling you a placeholder in public scald." From there, it spread like wildfire. I didn't comment. I didn't defend her or myself. I let it exist in the world exactly as she created it. Meanwhile, Mia tried to control the damage. She changed the caption from "settling for now, grinning face with sweat," to "Sunday brunch with my love, red heart." But by then, it was too late. The screenshots were everywhere. I knew it hit her hard when I started hearing from people I hadn't spoken to in years. One guy from college texted me, "Bro, I saw that post. That's cold. You deserve better." Even my boss, who doesn't even use Instagram much, pulled me aside one morning and said quietly, "Everything okay at home?" That was the moment I realized how deep it had gone. It wasn't just an inside joke between her and her friends. She'd humiliated me in front of everyone we both knew, and now she was the one drowning in the fallout. By the end of the week, she cracked. I got a long email from her since I blocked her everywhere else. Subject line, "You're blowing this out of proportion. I can't believe you're actually ignoring me like this. Everyone is twisting my words. You know, I didn't mean it the way it looks. It was sarcasm. My friends got it. Yours just don't have a sense of humor. Now people are making me out to be some kind of monster. And it's your fault for not speaking up and clarifying. You're letting them believe the worst about me. If you actually cared, you'd defend me. Call me so we can fix this." I read it twice, then deleted it. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was the one who'd been humiliated, but somehow she thought I owed her a defense, that I was supposed to save her from the mess she created. I didn't. Over the next month, word trickled back through mutual friends. Apparently, the post had cost her more than just embarrassment. One of her coworkers saw it and made a snide comment in the office, and she lost it on him in front of everyone. HR got involved. Her reputation at work took a nosedive. A guy she'd been flirting with on the side, one of the exciting ones she always compared me to, used the caption as an excuse to roast her. Told her, "Yeah, you are the type to settle. That's why I'll never take you seriously. Then he ghosted her. Even some of her closest girlfriends started pulling away. I heard through the grapevine that one of them told her flat out, "You made yourself look shallow. That's on you." And through all of it, I stayed silent. No posts, no statements, no angry rants, just nothing. It must have driven her crazy, because the next email I got was less defensive and more desperate. "I miss you. I know I messed up. Can we just meet and talk? Please. You're the only person who ever really cared about me. Everyone else is fake. Don't let one stupid caption ruin what we had." I didn't reply. I could almost hear her voice in my head, swinging between condescension and desperation. And for the first time in our entire relationship, I realized I had the power. Not by yelling, not by proving her wrong, just by being absent. Because absence, it turns out, is the one thing she couldn't stand. And she was only just getting started with the begging. By the time her second email went unanswered, Mia moved to new tactics. Blocked on my phone and socials, she started messaging me through random numbers. Clearly burn her accounts. First, it was playful. "Hey stranger," winking face. "Remember me? You can't ignore me forever. Come on, let's talk." Then it shifted into guilt tripping. "Wow, so you're just going to throw away 2 years like they meant nothing? Everyone's making me out to be some villain. You know I'm not like that. You're the only one who knows the real me." When that didn't work, she swung the other direction entirely. "Fine, be petty. Block me. But don't come crawling back when you realize I'm the best thing you'll ever have." The thing was, every single message just confirmed that I'd made the right choice. I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just detached. It was like watching someone drown in the quicksand they themselves had walked into. The final straw came when she showed up at my apartment building. I knew because my neighbor texted me. "There's a girl outside ringing every buzzer asking for you. Should I call someone?" When I pee out my window, there she was, dressed to the nines like she was heading to a date. Makeup perfect, holding a little takeout bag from my favorite Thai spot. She looked around nervously, then up at my window, as if she knew I was watching. I stepped back and closed the blinds. Half an hour later, my doorman texted me. "She's gone. Left the food with me. Said you'd want it." I didn't pick it up. A week after that, I ran into one of our old mutual friends at the gym. "Dude," he said, shaking his head, "Mia's a mess right now. She keeps telling everyone she didn't mean it, that it was just sarcasm. But honestly, nobody's buying it." "Not my problem," I said, racking weights. He studied me for a second, then nodded. "Good. Don't let her drag you back. She's desperate, man. I think she thought you'd chase her. But the way you went ghost, that's what's driving her crazy." I shrugged. "She wanted exciting. She can have it." That made him laugh. By month 2, her desperation had fully flipped into obsession. She left a handwritten note on my car windshield. "I know I screwed up. Please don't throw us away. Remember our trip to Miami? Remember how we talked about moving in together? You can't just erase that. Please. Just one conversation." I tossed it in the trash without reading it twice. She tried showing up at my job once, too. The receptionist texted me. "Your ex is in the lobby. Says she's here to see you. Should I get security?" "Yes," I replied. By the time I walked down, she was gone. But not before leaving a little gift bag at the front desk. A framed photo of us together, with sticky notes around the edges that said things like, "You're my person and meant to be." I told reception to throw it out. The thing about Mia was she thrived on reaction. Positive, negative. It didn't matter. She needed acknowledgement to feel powerful, and I was giving her none. That silence, more than any fight or breakup text, was what finally broke her down. Because slowly, the messages shifted from anger to pleading. Please, just tell me what I can do to fix this. You don't even have to take me back. Just don't hate me. Please, I can't sleep. I can't eat. I miss you so much. I'll do anything. And that's when I realized this wasn't about love. This was about control. She wasn't devastated because she lost me. She was devastated because I stopped playing her game. And once I understood that, I knew there was no way back. But the universe wasn't done teaching her lessons yet, because karma has a funny way of lining things up. And her exciting replacement, the one she secretly thought was her upgrade, yeah, he was about to enter the picture again. The thing about Mia was that she always wanted more. Even when we were together, she'd constantly make little comments about other guys. How one was so ambitious, how another had that spark. She thought she was trading up by keeping her options open, testing the waters. What she didn't realize was that the guys she put on a pedestal, they weren't putting her on one. I found out through the grapevine again, mutual friends, that one of the guys she'd been sly chasing, this finance bro type named Derek, finally gave her a chance for about a week. Apparently, he took her out a couple of times, showed her off in his BMW, made her feel like she'd leveled up. She even posted a photo of his car on her story with the caption, "Now this is exciting." Smiling face with hard eyes. It didn't take long for that to backfire. Word spread that Derek had been laughing about her behind her back. One night at a bar, someone overheard him talking with his buddy. Yeah, she's cute, but bro, she's the one who wrote that "settling for now" caption. I'm not trying to be anyone's stepping stone. I'll take her out for fun, but she's not girlfriend material. And then, just like that, he ghosted her. No explanation, no closure. He just stopped replying. One day she was posting his car. The next, she was back to posting sad quotes about fake people and loyalty being rare. I didn't gloat. I didn't even reach out. But people made sure I knew. Screenshots landed in my inbox from every angle. One of my coworkers sent me Derek's comment thread on some mutual friend's photo. Someone had teased him about Mia, and his response was brutal. Low. I was never serious about that. She's the type who thinks she's upgrading but ends up back where she started. Hard pass. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. But then I remembered the caption she'd written under my picture. Settling for now, grinning face with sweat. Duh. Yeah, no sympathy. By this point, Mia's mask had slipped completely. The confident, sarcastic girl who thought she was clever was gone. Now she was just desperate. Her third email to me was nothing like the first two. The subject line wasn't defensive or playful. It was just one word. Please. Inside, she wrote paragraphs about how she made a mistake, how Derek was a distraction that meant nothing, how I was the one who always truly loved her. She ended it with, I see it now. You're the safe place I should have never taken for granted. Can we just start over, please? I'll prove it to you. I didn't respond, and the silence seemed to eat her alive. One night, I went out with some friends, and guess who walked into the same bar? Mia. She spotted me instantly, froze, then made her way over like she'd been rehearsing it in her head. Hey, she said, forcing a smile. It's been a while. I looked at her, then back at my drink. Yep, she shifted awkwardly, clearly expecting me to engage. When I didn't, she rushed on. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't mean that caption. It was stupid. You know me. I joke too much. And Derek, I cut her off. Not interested. Her face fell. I'm serious. I said I'm not interested, I repeated, standing up to join my friends at another table. The look on her face, that mix of shock and panic, was all the closure I needed. Later that night, a buddy leaned over and said, Man, you handled that perfectly. "You didn't give her an inch." And he was right, because giving Mia an inch had always meant she'd take a mile. But now, she was left with nothing but her own echo chamber. And karma wasn't done with her yet, because Derek wasn't the last guy to use her and toss her aside. He was just the beginning. By the time spring rolled around, Mia had become a walking cautionary tale. The caption that started it all was still circulating in private group chats, like some kind of urban legend. Imagine your girlfriend calling you a placeholder in public. It never died down because every few weeks another screenshot would resurface. It got to the point where I didn't even need to check. I'd hear about it secondhand. "Hey man, did you see someone posted that thing again?" A buddy would say, and I'd just shrug. Still, because by then, it wasn't my burden anymore. It was hers. Her downfall wasn't dramatic. It was slow, humiliating, and public. One of my friends still followed her on Instagram and would give me updates, usually shaking his head in disbelief. First, it was the breakup quotes. Sometimes the people who love the most get hurt the worst. Then the self-pity posts. Loyalty is so rare these days. After Derek, there were two more guys in quick succession. Both had nice cars, flashy lifestyles, the kind of men she always said I wasn't. Both lasted less than a month. Each time she'd post pictures with them. Cocktails, selfies, little captions like, "Finally found someone on my level, red heart." And each time the photos disappeared quietly. No explanation, no closure. Just deleted like she was trying to erase the evidence. The pattern was obvious to everyone but her. She thought she was climbing higher. But in reality, every step she took was further down. Meanwhile, I'd quietly moved into a better place, literally and figuratively. With Mia gone, my finances stretched further than I'd realized. I upgraded to a nicer apartment downtown. I bought myself a better car, not flashy, but comfortable and reliable. And without the constant emotional drain, I threw myself into my career. Opportunities seemed to line up one after another. I got promoted to lead a team on a major project, which meant more recognition, more travel, and a higher salary. It wasn't just material either. I started working out regularly, got serious about hobbies I neglected. My circle of friends grew tighter. My weekends stopped being arguments or damage control and started being something I actually looked forward to. In short, I was thriving. And Mia, she noticed. The first time she really tried to claw her way back was through a mutual friend's birthday. I showed up with a couple of guys from work enjoying the night when I felt that all too familiar stare across the room. Mia. She looked different, not bad. She'd always been attractive, but worn out. There was a tension in her face that wasn't there before, like she was carrying the weight of too many nights, crying alone. She waited until I was at the bar before sidling up beside me. "Hey," she said, her voice lower this time, less confident. "You look good." I sipped my drink. "Thanks." She hesitated. "I've been thinking about us a lot. About how I ruined everything. I wish I could take it back." I raised an eyebrow. The caption, "You mean?" Her face flushed. "That was stupid. I was stupid. I didn't mean it. You know I didn't. Didn't look that way." She swallowed hard. "I miss you more than I can explain. I know you probably don't believe me, but those other guys, they weren't you. They don't care like you did. She bit her lip, almost trembling. "I want another chance. Please." I set my drink down, turned to her fully, and said calmly, "You had me. And you made it a punchline." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "I don't play sequels," I added, and walked away. After that, her attempts grew even messier. She'd send messages through friends. "Can you just tell him to talk to me? Just 5 minutes." She left a handwritten note at my apartment door once. rambling about our future kids and growing old together. She even showed up at my work lobby one afternoon, only to be escorted out by security when she wouldn't leave. Each time my response was the same: silence. Because by then, I wasn't holding on to anger. I wasn't even holding on to her. I'd already let go. And the more I let go, the more it drove her insane. Because Mia had built her whole world around the idea that I'd always be there as her safety net. But the truth was, I'd already stepped so far out of her orbit that she didn't matter anymore. And soon enough, the rest of the world was going to see it too. It happened at a wedding. A mutual friend, Josh, was getting married, and I almost didn't go because I knew Mia would be there. But in the end, I decided not to hide. Why should I? It wasn't my reputation on the line anymore. When I walked in, I felt eyes on me immediately. Old friends clapped me on the back, saying things like, "Man, you're killing it lately. Heard about the promotion." Or, "Looking sharp, bro." And then I saw her, Mia. She was sitting with a group of girls at one of the side tables, dressed beautifully as always. But there was a heaviness in her posture, like she was carrying a weight she couldn't sit down. The moment our eyes met, I knew she was going to try again. It didn't take long. During the cocktail hour, she made her way over, champagne glass in hand, that same practiced smile plastered on her face. "Hey," she said softly. "You look amazing. Really happy." I gave a polite nod. "Thanks, I am." That seemed to rattle her. "I've missed you more than I can explain. I can't stop thinking about everything I ruined." I sipped my drink, waiting. She continued, words spilling faster now. "I was stupid, immature. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it. You were the best thing in my life, and I threw it away. Everyone else, they didn't care. They just wanted something temporary. You were the real thing." Her eyes were glassy. For the first time, she wasn't smug or sarcastic. She was pleading. "I want another chance," she whispered. "Please, we can start over. Nobody has to know. Just let me prove to you that I've changed." I set my glass down, turned fully toward her, and spoke in a calm, even tone. "You call me a placeholder." Her face went pale. "You didn't say it in private. You didn't slip up in the heat of an argument. You wrote it under a picture for the world to see." She shook her head, voice trembling. "I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did. Maybe you thought it was funny. Maybe you thought you could get away with it. But the truth is, it came from somewhere real. You saw me as temporary, disposable." Tears started welling in her eyes. "No, I didn't." I cut her off. "And that's why there's no going back. Because the man you thought was a placeholder, he's not waiting for you anymore. He's moved on." I let that sink in before I added, "You made me your punchline. Now you're just a story I tell when people ask why I don't settle for less." She stared at me, stunned. Then, for the first time, her mask cracked completely. Her voice rose, raw and angry. "You think you're better than me now? You think you're superior just because you got a promotion and a new car? You'll never find someone who loved you like I did." I didn't flinch. I didn't raise my voice. I just smiled faintly and said, "I already did." Her face crumpled. I didn't stick around to watch the breakdown. I turned, walked back to my table, and rejoined my friends. Behind me, I could feel her eyes burning holes into my back. But I didn't care, because the truth was, Mia wasn't my problem anymore. She was just a chapter I'd already closed. Later that night, as the bride and groom had their first dance, one of my friends leaned over and said, "Man, I saw that conversation. You handled it like a boss." I shrugged. There wasn't anything to handle. She's the one still stuck in the past. I've already moved on. And I meant it, because for the first time in years, I wasn't haunted by her words, her moods, or her games. I was free. And as the music swelled, in the room filled with laughter, I realized something. Being called a placeholder had been the best thing that ever happened to me, because it showed me exactly what I wasn't willing to be anymore. That was the last real conversation I ever had with Mia. She kept trying. Texts, calls, even showing up once outside my building. But I never gave her another word. And in time, she faded, while I built something real, something solid, something that wasn't temporary. Because the truth is, I was never the placeholder. She was. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.